Hi, everybody. My name is Reza, and I'm going to be talking about customer journey retargeting today. I'm the CEO of Shoelace. We are a 35-person company based in Toronto, and we create software to help e-commerce merchants implement customer journey retargeting. We work with over 1,000 high-growth brands on Shopify and Shopify Plus. And let's get into it. So everybody sort of knows that retargeting has become so annoying these days that you visit a website and you leave, and you may even buy the product, and then for months and months and months, you perhaps see the retargeting ad for the very product that you bought that'll just like haunt you and never leave you alone. And that's kind of the state that it's become, and I think that consumers have become fed up with this, that obviously it creates this terrible experience where consumers are bombarded with repetitive ad experiences, and it's just not pleasant. And the stats are in that these sorts of experiences cause a poor brand experience and ad fatigue, and something like 85% of consumers report that they have a poor brand experience from a company who sort of shows these intrusive ads too repetitively, and that 88% of consumers report they see retargeting ads for products that they've already bought, and 77% of consumers report they see retargeting ads from the same retailer way too many times. And our view is that it doesn't have to be this way, that there is a better way, that when done right, retargeting can help build emotional connections, it can help build brand equity, and it can create memorable experiences. And this next point could probably be a talk all on its own, but there's a reason why this matters right now, and that the sort of why we've come to this place is that for a lot of the merchants that are launching Shopify stores today, I'm afraid to tell you that the kind of golden era of Facebook ads is kind of dwindling down, where once upon a time, maybe 4 years ago, you can launch a product, throw some Facebook ads on it, all the math would work, and you'd make a lot of money just on that first transaction. But there's been a lot of competition there. A lot of people have been figuring that out and doing the same thing. And with all of the competition and the cost of advertising going up and up and up, it's starting to become extremely difficult to make the math work with paid advertising on a single transaction. And so it's not just about these kind of warm and fuzzy feelings where we don't want to annoy customers, but brands who don't implement a business model that has really strong lifetime value metrics, really strong repeat purchase metrics, are going to have an incredibly difficult time surviving, let alone scaling in what's to come. And so these become really important, because how do you get lifetime value? How do you get repeat purchase? How do you get consumers to buy from you again and again and again? Well, you have to build brand equity, you have to build relationships with these customers so that they'll want to buy from you again. And so when that becomes a broader part of your brand strategy, you can't kind of build a great business by pestering people and annoying them, then every part of your customer journey throughout your brand experience, from like the shipping to the unboxing to the website experience, to the emails, to the retargeting, everything has to be in service of building brand equity and building brand loyalty. And in my view, that's going to be the only way to win in e-commerce going forward. And so that's sort of the new opportunity. Folks who are able to figure out strong lifetime value metrics, they're the ones that are going to win. So I would encourage anyone who's starting their business today to take brand equity extremely seriously from day one. And so when done right, retargeting can personalize the buying journey. It can be an experience that is relevant to people based on where they left. So you might have a set of folks who visit the website and left after a few seconds, or you might have a loyal customer who's coming to your site for the 12th time to buy your brand new collection. And so the ad experiences should be relevant to folks based on where they are in the buying journey. And when you do this, you can show relevant messaging to folks based on where they are. And the experience can evolve like a story. And so when somebody leaves the website, instead of seeing the same ad over and over again, maybe this is an opportunity to introduce them to the brand, tell them your story, get them to understand what you're about, and buy into your sort of vision and narrative as a company, and to build those emotional connections and get them to know who you are and what you're about. And so we've been calling this customer journey retargeting, and to sort of give it a formal definition, it's a personalized approach to retargeting that shows the right customer, the right ad at the right time based on where they are in the buying journey. And so this is the former editor-in-chief of Shopify Plus who said some good words about us, just saying that we know what we're talking about. So thanks, Aaron, for the shout out there. And the 5 components of customer journey retargeting, just to walk through them pretty quickly. Number 1 is that it should be tailored to the buying journey. So very important. Did somebody, add an item to cart? Are they coming back for the third time? Did they leave after 3 seconds? Where are they in the buying journey? And using that as a formula to say what kind of ad experiences should they receive based on where they were in that buying journey. The other is that it should be engaging and non-repetitive. And so if you start pestering people with the same ads over and over again, just sort of think about your own experience. When you go to social media, we're kind of going there for dopamine hits, right? Like when we see a piece of content that we've already seen, how fast are we scrolling that piece of content? We're looking for something new, we're looking for something fresh, and your ad experiences should be similar. They should not be repetitive, they should be engaging and different. And so they should be sequenced, that over the course of days and weeks that somebody's left your site, what kind of messaging do you want to tell them? What kind of story do you want to tell them? What do you want them to know about your brand and your products? And think about that as you sequence the ad experiences over the weeks or months after somebody's left the site. The other is that it should be aligned with marketing. So if we're sending out an email to folks, then perhaps we should use a retargeting campaign to amplify that message to people who didn't open the email or something like that. Or if we want a loyalty program, maybe we want to show an ad experience to folks who have enough points to redeem a reward and say, hey, congrats, you have enough points to redeem a reward with us. Or if we use social proofing like a Yotpo app or Stamp.io and we use like 5-star reviews and user-generated content, maybe we want to use those experiences in our retargeting ads as well. And so how do we use retargeting as a part of the overall marketing program and amplify messages that we're using in other parts of our marketing funnel? The last is that success is not just return on ad spend. So we'll go through some examples right now of ad experiences that you can run with customer journey retargeting that don't necessarily result in an immediate transaction, and that's okay. For example, if somebody leaves early on in the buying journey and doesn't spend a lot of time on your site, maybe they're not ready to buy just yet, and maybe they're willing to sign up for your email list. And so they'll sign up to your newsletter, and now you can engage them for free on an ongoing basis. And that was a win right there. Maybe they didn't buy, but you're trying to build a business that has customers who want to buy from you for years to come. So if you get one person to join your email list, that's a win. But the math needs to work, and the only way that the math works is if you have a business that has high lifetime value metrics. So like this really only works if you have a broader strategy to build a business that is based on repeat purchase rates and kind of growing your overall customer base that way, because then you have a better understanding of what you're willing to spend for an email, because you know what that leads to over time. So this is a classic book on marketing and advertising that I would highly recommend, and it's almost like the words become truer as time goes by, which is interesting. And so one quote that I really liked from this book is that to succeed in our over-communicated society, a brand needs to create a position in the prospect's mind. And so if everyone's just saying the same thing to all the customers that like, buy my product now, you kind of don't stand out in the noise, which is why you see a rise of consumer brands who stand for something, who have a narrative, who have a story that they're telling customers, and they're creating those emotional connections with customers and engaging them that way versus like just kind of buy my product, which is customers are getting a little bit fed up with that sort of messaging a little. And so customer journey helps with this. It helps brands stand out. It helps them stand out in the feeds by not showing the same ads over and over again, and it helps you stand out by telling your story, telling your narrative, and telling folks what your brand is about. And so the point of the customer journey retargeting is to move people along in their buying funnel. And so when you typically look at a funnel, usually it ends at becoming a customer. And so a lot of what you're, I suspect, going to be seeing in people talking about e-commerce and how to win in e-commerce is like funnels that look like an hourglass, that when they become a customer, that's only the beginning of the journey. Now the kind of the entire math of the model works by having customers buy from you repeatedly. So how do we think about a funnel that takes people from expressing interest to your product to purchasing from you, but then more importantly, how do we then nurture those folks to become loyal repeat customers? And the way you treat them as they navigate through the beginning of that funnel will play a big role in how they sort of have built an emotional connection with your brand and understand what you're about along the entire journey, not just on the retargeting, including things like unboxing experiences, and all of those things really matter, and every touch point really matters. And so let's go through some examples real quick of what does customer journey retargeting look like when it's in practice. So let's go stage by stage. Here's an example of ads that might run in a retargeting experience for the expressed interest stage. So let's say these are people who visited the website, didn't even look at any products, didn't look at any collections, and left sort of shortly after their first visit. Well, maybe instead of showing them kind of buy now messaging or really aggressive tactics to get them to buy, maybe you start building affinity with the brand. Maybe you show them a piece of content, let them know that you are an expert in your field, let them know that you know what you're talking about and you're an authority in the sort of space that you operate in. Maybe they're not ready for a purchase, so maybe you use a lead ad to capture their email and encourage them to sign up to your newsletter. And now, you've sort of not pushed a purchase on them, but you've invited them into your world, and maybe they'll sign up to hear from you. And perhaps when you have a new collection or an offer, or they're ready to buy from you, they'll engage months down the line. Or for example, given that these are folks who left the website without even looking at a product, maybe you'll show them a few of your best sellers. And if they click on one of these ads and now come back and look at a product, they have effectively moved to the next stage of the funnel, which would be like the showed consideration phase, and they've now looked at some of your products. Or the last one could be if you have a chatbot strategy and you have sort of Facebook Messenger marketing in place, you could perhaps show them an ad that encourages a conversation with your bot, and now you're in your subscriber list and you can message them again. And so in this ad experience, assume you got 0 sales. Assume you got a bunch of people to watch your video and understand what your brand is about, and a bunch more to sign up for your emails newsletter, and a bunch more to come back and look at products, and a bunch more to subscribe to your messenger list. That's a win. And so I think a lot of times people look at it, but it's only a win if the math works over a long period of time, that you're able to invest in these kinds of experiences if you know that people are coming back and buying from you repeatedly over time. And so let's look at the next phase. For example, these are people who looked at some products or looked at a collection and spent a bit more time on your site. Maybe you'll show them the typical dynamic product ad, the one that's the sort of popular ad in retargeting that most people are sort of abusing and running that and letting it rip forever. These are good. You want to show them and sort of remind them about the products that they saw, but that's not the only kinds of experiences you want to show them. Perhaps you'll show them a lifestyle ad, something that shows the product in action, something that makes them sort of think about what will happen to their life, to their lifestyle if they buy your product, and put that as part of the brand experience too. Maybe you'll use your user-generated content and show them, like, here are some 5-star reviews that people have said. Here's what other people have liked about our product, and put those in the ad experiences. And then finally, maybe you have a rewards program. And again, perhaps they're not ready to buy from you yet, but they're willing to join your rewards program, and you can stay in touch with them that way. Perhaps you even put the points, the wins that they'd get. So if you sign up for the rewards program today, you get 300 welcome points or something like that. And you get some folks to sign up for your rewards program. Continuing down in the took action stage, maybe you'll show people a product ad of the product that they looked at with a bit more detail, and they scroll through and learn more about that specific product. And maybe you'll show them something that talks about the mission of your company and what you stand for. Sometimes the trigger that gets somebody to buy is the emotional connection with your brand and what your narrative is, and they like the product and they want to support your brand, and you can put that into the ad experience. Or for example, you can put another piece of objection handling that would happen in this phase. Maybe somebody isn't sure that if I buy your product, what if I don't like it? What if it's not good? What if it doesn't fit? You can put some of those messaging to say, like, we have a good, generous return policy, or we have lifetime warranty, or put some of those ad experiences that are relevant to people at that stage of the buying journey. And like I said, retargeting shouldn't end when someone becomes a customer. In the terrible example that we mentioned early on, there are a bunch of folks who won't even exclude people who purchased, and you might buy a product and you see ads for that same product for months and months and months. At the minimum, folks should exclude people that bought the product and not show them annoying ads of the product that they bought, but that's just the minimum. To go beyond from that, how do we use retargeting in the post-purchase segment of the funnel to induce loyalty and repeat purchase and brand building? So for example, after somebody purchased, maybe you give them a thank you ad and thank them for joining the ranks and make them feel like they're a part of the community. Or maybe you show them an ad experience that encourages them to tag themselves in the photo of the product that they bought and sort of join the community online and join the conversation of your brand online. And of course, everybody in e-commerce wants to make more money, so maybe in about 30 days, 40 days, 50 days, you show them some ad experiences of some of your new arrivals or products that they might be interested in buying based on what they bought previously. So that's just an example of types of ad experiences that you can run with customer journey retargeting, and what it all looks like in practice versus the sort of repetitive ad of showing them the same product that they looked at forever and ever. And so the 5 benefits real quick of why is customer journey retargeting good is that it builds stronger relationships. These are customers who potentially will be lifelong customers of your brand, and maybe they'll tell their friends about you, and maybe they'll, if you have a story to tell, you should tell it, and then they maybe talk about you over dinner or something like that. How do you use these to build stronger relationships with your customers? How do you use it to boost conversion rates? So, for example, people that have left at the top stage of the funnel, how do you use customer journey retargeting to nurture folks and push them along the buying funnel and increase conversion rates along the way? And increase repeat purchase rate by targeting the post-purchase segment of the funnel and building stronger relationships over time that create more loyal customers that will want to buy from your brand repeatedly. And ultimately, how do you grow more sales? It's not just about the kind of warm and fuzzy feelings of better ad experiences so that your customers will like you more. When they have better experiences, when they like your brand, when they're loyal, when they have affinity, when you have brand equity, when you do all these things, it drives more sales. And in part, it has to be part of a larger strategy of building brand equity so that you have a repeat purchase business model. And that's how all of the strategies need to be in place. And customer journey retargeting amplifies that. It's not a kind of silver bullet that will solve all the problems. The brand experience needs to be tight, needs to be perfect in every channel. And so this is why it's important to kind of make sure that it's also that way when you do your retargeting. And finally, to build your brand, that every touch point matters, that when some of the things that we use sometimes as part of like our own sales process to acquire customers is we'll like go on Twitter, for example, and search a name of a brand and type retargeting. So you could look like Casper or Peloton or a bunch of these brands and look at what people are saying about them online when it comes to retargeting, and it's really bad. There is a brand damage, there's like a damaging cost associated to this, and when you annoy people, they will get upset. But when you build a nice experience that tells them about who you are and why you're special, they will like you more. And so this is important. Thanks for your time. Feel free to email me. Happy to shoot you over the deck. And I'm around if you have any questions. I'd be happy to answer. Thanks. Really?